7 of those to ourselves. Okay, so I'd like to read the benefits of this practice again. Lama Zopa Rinpoche states, and I've seen him say it over and over again on Facebook. Yes, it's on Facebook, then it's got to be true. Yeah. As I regard as the most important thing in the world, anybody who dedicates his or her life to achieving Lam Rim realizations with the goal to liberate numberless beings from the oceans of samsaric suffering and bring them to enlightenment. Keep the mind in Lam Rim, Guru devotion, renunciation of samsara, and bodhicitta. These things help you to not commit negative karma again. Every day, meditate on the Lam Rim and keep it in your mind, even during break times from sitting meditation. And Geshe-la said this. Reciting the Lam Rim outline is superior to saying millions of mantras, to having clairvoyance or seeing deities. Review meditations leave imprints of the Lam Rim on your mind stream like footprints in the sand. Make many footprints in the sand. This is how you increase the chance to meet Lama Tsongkhapa's teachings in your next life. The footprints will stay a long time, whether the footprint is good or bad. Okay, so let's, we're going to start the meditation for tonight. And the topic is 12 dependent arisings. So this is our motivation. By reviewing each word of this Lam Rim outline, may I and all sentient beings realize the whole path to enlightenment. May each word of this Lam Rim outline subdue our minds immediately. May the whole path to enlightenment be generated in the minds of all sentient beings. Training the mind in the stages of the path shared with persons of medium capacity has 4 parts. The mental training, the measure of the determination to be free, dispelling misconceptions, ascertaining the nature of the path leading to liberation. The mental training has 2 parts. Identifying the mind intent on liberation, the method for developing the mind intent on liberation. The method for developing the mind intent on liberation has 2 parts. Reflection on suffering and its origin. Reflection from the viewpoint of the 12 dependent arisings. Reflection from the viewpoint of the 12 dependent arisings has 4 parts. The division into 12 factors. Abbreviated classification of the factors. The number of lifetimes required to complete all 12 factors. How their significance is summarized. Now the meditation on the 12 dependent arisings are from excerpts from Geshe Sonam Rinpoche's How Karma Works, the 12 Links of Dependent Arising, from Geshe Tashi Tsering's The 12 Links of Dependent Arising, from Volume 2 of Geshe Sopa's Steps on the Path to Enlightenment, from Teachings from Tibet, The 12 Links by Geshe Rabten, and from The Meaning of Life by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The first factor is ignorance, the misapprehension of the meaning of reality. specifically is the ignorance of holding the self to truly exist. This is the ignorance of self-grasping, the root of samsara. A good sign of possessing this innate self-grasping is the fact that whatever appears to our senses, whatever we see, hear, smell, taste, or come into contact with, we perceive it to exist exactly the way it appears. We have to understand how extensive the innate self-grasping is. It has been with us since beginningless time without any break. It is called innate because it has permeated our mind so much that it is with us all the time. When we sleep, innate self-grasping is there. When we wake up and engage in different activities, innate self-grasping is there. When we die and our bodies are burned, innate self-grasping is still there, following the mental continuum that moves in the next migration. When we examine innate self-grasping, we have to identify it as something that exists all the time and is the root of every possible motivation. The second factor is compositional activity or karma. Karma, or actions, arise because of ignorance. Motivated by ignorance of self-grasping, we take actions of body, speech, and mind. Actions in the second link are projecting virtuous or non-virtuous actions, powerful enough to project us into another life. Non-virtuous projecting karma produces unhappy rebirths, and virtuous projecting karma produces happy rebirths. The third factor is consciousness. When we talk about consciousness as a third link, we refer to the consciousness upon which, one moment after an action is completed, a seed or an imprint is placed. The seed is carried forward as a potential that will ripen and will be experienced in the future. The consciousness that receives this seed and carries it forward without interruption until the conditions are met for that seed to ripen is called the causal consciousness. It is this causal consciousness that we refer to as the third link. So to summarize the first three links, first there's ignorance, the misapprehension of reality, which has been with us from beginningless time. Motivated by this ignorance, we create actions. Actions leave a seed or imprint on our consciousness. The fourth factor is name and form. This refers to the gradual formation of the aggregates after the consciousness has entered the womb. Name and form are the mental and physical aggregates. Name refers to feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness. Form refers to any form, such as the fertilized ovum. Although name and form are established as early as the moment of conception, at this stage they are very subtle and not fully established. The period during which the fetus is developing is designated as name and form. The fifth factor is the six sources. Here we have the continuation of the development of the mind-body complex and the name and form factor. Once the name and form are established, you have an actual body, but the sense faculties are still developing. The six sources refers to this developmental phase during which the person develops the capability to experience an object through the coming together of the sense faculty, object, and consciousness. With the completion of the six sources, the specific physical properties are fully developed, and the sensory faculties thereby become utilizable instruments. The sixth factor is contact. Once the sense faculties are complete, they begin to operate. Contact is the moment when a sense faculty, an object, and a moment of consciousness meet. You distinguish the object as attractive, unattractive, or neutral. At this point, we have just established the initial contact, but we do not have sensations or feelings that would allow us to experience the object as pleasant or unpleasant. The seventh factor is feeling. Depending on whether you have contact with an attractive, unattractive, or neutral object, you experience a pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feeling. When contact and feeling are complete, the experience is complete. The eighth factor is craving. Craving is caused by feeling accompanied by ignorance. We crave not to be separated from a pleasant object and crave to be separated from the unpleasant. The ninth factor is grasping. When the imprints and seeds on our mind become activated through craving, a more intense, powerful form of attachment called grasping arises. It is like watering seeds. Moisture activates the process of germination. It is the impulse to seize the desired object once craving arises. The 10th factor is potential existence. Due to craving and grasping, subsequent existence arises. Potential existence is the link present right at the time of death, when the birth existence is coming to an end, just prior to establishing the bardo body. It is the stage prior to both the bardo and birth. The 11th factor is birth. Birth is the first moment of new life, when the consciousness enters its new body, the state of conception in the womb of a mother. The 12th factor is aging and death. Aging begins from the second moment of birth. While aging is a process that happens over many years, death happens in an instant. The next moment, you don't exist anymore. Aging and death are combined into one link because death can occur without the common signs of aging. As you know, death can occur immediately after birth, in which case there is hardly any aging at all. In the Rice Seedling Sutra, the Buddha clearly indicated the dependent nature of things and the process which keeps us in cyclic existence. How do we remain in cyclic existence? And how can we extricate ourselves? By meditating on the 12 dependent arisings, we can come to understand fully how painful our present situation actually is. This is something we are reluctant to acknowledge. But a real antipathy towards the cycle of involuntary birth and death in which we are trapped will not arise unless we face it. And unless we generate strong feelings of aversion to cyclic existence, it would be impossible to develop a genuine wish for liberation, without which progress on the path is impossible. Yet revulsion for cyclic existence is still not enough. Unless we recognize what keeps us in this condition, we cannot discover the means to free ourselves. Even though we may realize that we are sick, unless a correct diagnosis is made, we cannot hope to find the treatment that can cure us. When we understand how each factor in this chain of causality gives rise to the next factor, we also grasp the means by which we can interrupt this process of samsaric evolution by cutting the causal links at certain points. As the Buddha said, when this is, that is. When this arises, that arises. When this is not, that is not. When this ceases, that ceases. We are talking about a realization that leads to direct transformation of our daily life and the behavior of our body, speech, and mind. Up until now, all of our actions have been directed toward the samsaric side. But once we begin acting out of wisdom, everything turns around completely. And whatever we do becomes the practice of purification, leading ultimately to emancipation. Okay, so we just have a few people again. So if we maybe break up into two groups, so everyone will have plenty of time to talk. I have my notes here if you can't remember the links. So, whoops. So let's, and then I'll ring the bell in about 25 minutes. Okay.
something about the consciousness that's remaining?
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
is that kind of what you're
yes, no, and
kind of trying? Who could we ask?
I'm asking Venerable George tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, okay. He's still here?
Yeah. He's here. He came through Friday.
Okay, so let's get our little flyers out to recite the foundation of all good qualities. And if you want, you can test your memory if you've memorized it, because no one will be looking at you to see if you're saying it right. So Lama Zopa Rinpoche says, reciting a Lam Rim prayer every day is a fundamental daily practice that renders each day of your life most meaningful. When you recite a Lam Rim prayer mindfully from beginning to end, your recitation becomes a direct meditation on the entire path to enlightenment and leaves imprints or seeds of the realizations of the path on your mental continuum. With each recitation, you draw closer to enlightenment and therefore closer to enlightening all sentient beings, which is the main goal of your life, the purpose of being alive. This is the unbelievable benefit of doing direct meditation on the Lam Rim every day. So it's on page 17 in the booklet. It's in the little Guru Puja, the little booklet that's back there. Not. Oh, Patrick's got one. Oh, okay. It's on page 17.
Chant masters, Geshe Sangha talks about there's some great chant masters that really are only perfect for the first line and a half, and then they mumble for the rest of it. I get the rest, the first part I mumble.
Okay. The Foundation of All Good Qualities by Lama Tsongkhapa. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of black and white karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativities and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Seeking samsaric pleasures is the door to all suffering. They are uncertain and cannot be relied upon. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate the strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all mother migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop only bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I have pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training on the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the 2 attainments is keeping pure vows and sammaya. As I have become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the 2 stages, the essence of the Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends to practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages of the path, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Now let's say the dedication prayer from Shantideva. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness, and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain. Until then, may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for everyone for sharing. Yeah, thank you. Let's see, and the next topic is the 7-point cause and effect personal instructions. And